Marjorie Taylor Greene calls out weak AOC yet again. Now, Nick and I have covered this, maybe 2 segments on this, months apart. Marjorie Taylor Greene challenging AOC to a debate, and she's afraid. And I think the last segment I did, AOC responded. I'll try to see if I can find it here. AOC responded to Marjorie Taylor Greene like a couple of weeks ago saying, why don't you debate me? Saying, maybe you forgot, but we were just debating in a committee. AOC was trying to act like them being on a committee together and having committee debates was the same thing as her and AOC and Marjorie Taylor Greene and AOC debating. That's how weak she is. So let me read Nick's tweet again, and then we'll listen to what Marjorie Taylor Greene says in her appearance on Fox News. Why is AOC afraid to debate Marjorie Taylor Greene? This should be lightweight for any competent lefty, right? This isn't YouTube debate me bro stuff. This is elected officials debating public policy. It's super important and should have happened more often. Why are Democrats afraid to debate? Because they're weak and soft. And he goes on here, and I'll read the full thread before I go to the video. The boutique left keeps making excuses as why AOC shouldn't debate her. Why don't we want to legitimize her? Motherfucker, she is more powerful. She is on more powerful committees than the squad and the largest fundraiser in Congress. She's already legitimate, is the point Nick is making. She is already legit, whether you like it or not. Now engage her, cowards. Now I'm reading it with the emotion that I think he would read it. I'm reading it with emotion, right? Despite all the nonsense excuses, the reality is they know AOC is a moron, and any debate, not just Marjorie Taylor Greene, would expose her as a fraud, as the fraud that she is. Nick spitting fire right here. And let's go to the next part. Notice how Shama is confident and would be more than happy to raise awareness about socialist ideas by taking this debate. Why is AOC not as confident? Why is she not interested in raising awareness for left ideas? And he quote tweets Shama, who calls out Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I see your attempts to get AOC to debate are not succeeding. If you'd like to debate an elected socialist rep, I'm happy to oblige. You falsely claim to represent working class people, but in reality, the right-wing policies you argue for hurt American workers. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene is not taking this fight. Come on, man. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not taking a fight. In the same way Marjorie Taylor Greene knows a real one, when she sees it, knows AOC. We are spotting a fake one when we see it in AOC. She is no way can take on a debate like this. Now let's go back to the video Marjorie Taylor Greene put up here. And this is what Marjorie Taylor Greene says. I've challenged AOC to debate me several times, but she's chicken. It's because none of her ideas are actually her own. It's a short clip. I wonder if I can find the full thing on Fox, if I can find the full thing.
I actually challenged AOC to debates multiple times, and she has refused to debate me. And I wanted to specifically debate her on the Green New Deal. I wanted to challenge her as a successful business owner and an American tax.
Oh my God, I did not know that. The single most important issue on the planet that involves every living creature, whether human or not, is the climate crisis. The clown Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to debate the person who popularized it, and she refuses. This is clown shit. Clownery on the highest level. here. I'll let it play through this time.
I actually challenged AOC to debates multiple times, and she has refused to debate me. And I wanted to specifically debate her on the Green New Deal. I wanted to challenge her as a successful business owner and an American taxpayer on her ideas that will completely change the way our country functions, not only with energy, but in our entire economy. But AOC couldn't do it. You want to know why? She's chicken, and she isn't brave enough to defend those ideas because they're not her own. They came out of a think tank, and she just put her name on them. I actually challenged.
That's a fucking joke, man. Like these, it's just one thing after another that is just tearing down the facade of AOC. If there's any remnants left, it's just dust left of what people thought this person was. You have clown Marjorie Taylor Greene calling you out on the easiest topic to beat her on, which is climate change. I don't understand, how are people still even backing? Like, are there still AOC stands? AOC doesn't really believe it. That's why she won't debate that with her. She just picked, hey, I'm gonna play a leftist. Okay, so I'm playing a leftist, so I believe that, and that. I don't really believe it, but I'm sort of a la carte picking what I believe to make me a leftist. AOC clearly plans to be the new Nancy Pelosi, and that's what we call her too. Clearly, she is here to be the new Nancy Pelosi. But this call out by Marjorie Taylor Greene is pretty eye opening. But Shama and Claire Daly, Women to Love, man, those two are two of my favorite sort of politicians. Let me just see if. Oh, here is there more? Is there more? Oh, so she was on for the watch my full interview with Sean. Is there a link anywhere? I think you got to have an account with Rumble, do you? Oh, okay. So let's listen to the full interview. So this is the full interview. Can I play it? All right. So I just want the Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, sorry, the AOC part. So, oh, it's all about climate change. So let's listen to it because it gives context to why she's saying she will debate her on climate change. So actually, it's only 6 minutes. We'll listen to it. So let's listen to the entire interview of Marjorie Taylor Greene. One second. One second here. 1 second. I'm waiting for. Oh, my thing is not clicking. So I clicked it, but it's not showing. All right, now it's working. Okay, so let's now take this down and bring up the video. It hasn't started yet. Don't worry. This is Sean Hannity, and it's a 6-minute video. The full interview. Like,
more troubling news for whales from New Jersey. Now, this is a brand new video of a dead beach whale, 35 feet long, weighing 29,000 pounds, being moved off the Jersey shore. That was this morning. It is now the 6th dead whale to wash up on a beach in New Jersey since December. There's been some in New York as well, and yet mostly a muted response from the new Green Deal climate cult alarmists. Nothing from AOC, nothing from Al Gore. Same goes for the unfolding toxic chemical disaster in Ohio. It's also killing animals and fish, et cetera. Not a word about that either. So why not? Here with reaction, Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know, some people talk about, for example, wind turbines contributing to the death of whales and bird life, et cetera. In that case, nobody wants to seem to talk about that. And then you have this toxic chemical mess in Ohio, in Palestine that we reported on earlier in the program, and I don't hear anything from the new Green Deal climate alarmist cult about what is an environmental disaster.
You see how the weakness of elected left people, progressives, not saying anything. You see how it opens the lane for the right to call them out. If you so fucking down with the Green New Deal, where the fuck are you with this? Which is a legitimate critique by Sean Hannity right here. But you see how these weak milquetoast progressives, their weakness and their inability or unwillingness to fight opens the lane for a right demagogue, for a right populist, for a worse Trump. Sean Hannity and Marjorie Taylor Greene are able to point out to the clowns we call progressives, to the people who are supposedly for climate change, where the fuck are you with the Ohio train derailment? Where the fuck are you with this whale? Where are you? And it makes people who are skeptical of climate change, well, it can't be that important. You tried to act like you gaslit me about climate change. It can't be that important, AOC and the squad and progressives and Democrats, because you're saying nothing about what's happening in East Palestine. Sorry, I blank where it's at, but where the train derailment is. Nothing on that though. Ohio, sorry. Terrible.
By every measure. Why?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know why AOC isn't dressed in white and crying for the dead whales that keep washing on the beach from wind farms that are being placed all over the ocean. And people are calling the alarms over how this is not only killing unknown thousands of bird species, but also causing whales to beach themselves at record numbers. But the real problem, Sean, is Pete Buttigieg. He's the Secretary of Transportation, and he's more interested in equity and inclusion in his hiring practices and grant giving schemes and obviously probably chest feeding or something like that than he is rail safety. And that's where we have real danger in our country. You see, Pete Buttigieg was never qualified for the job. And I believe we need to haul him in our committees and start questioning him over what's actually happening in his department. Because train derailment is happening every single day. And now thousands of people, birds, animals, they're all sick. And we don't know the consequences of this horrible accident in East Palestine. But we have people like Ilhan Omar. She wants to, crack down on corporate greed when it comes to rails and the privately owned sections of rails. But really what we have to.
You see that? You see how they're able to play this lane because they are so left? Ilhan Omar, you want to crack down on this, but where are you on this other thing? The same thing I said, you're opening up such a huge gaping lane for a right demagogue to slide right in.
To do is we have to make sure that our rails are safe. Democrats passed a $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, and only $5 billion went towards rail safety. This is a failure. It would have never happened under a Republican-controlled infrastructure bill, and we need to hold Democrats accountable for this, especially Pete Buttigieg.
Where is the money going?
Well, the money's going to the Green New Deal. Over $1 trillion from the infrastructure bill goes to Green New Deal programs. Things like $7 billion to convert buses and ferries to electric batteries. Most of that benefits China because China controls the electric battery in the industry, and America doesn't even compete. You see, they didn't care about infrastructure. They didn't care about planes, trains, and automobiles and our real infrastructure in our crumbling nation. They cared about passing their policies, woke policies like the Green New Deal that only make people like Greta happy and make people like Bill Gates happy, but don't do anything for the American taxpayers and the very important needs of our infrastructure.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't you have to, pillage the earth using big, heavy equipment that uses diesel fuel to mine cobalt and manganese and nickel to build the batteries, whether they're built here or in China? That's the process. And the last time I checked, about 90% of our electric grid, which you would use to then charge your battery after you pillage the earth to get the materials to build the battery, isn't that all fossil fuel?
You see all the nonsense they're saying about what they call, what is a woke something? Woke climate activists. You see how they're able to flip the word and make woke mean something that it's not? Because people who are espousing to be for these things are not actually for these things, are not fighting for these things. So look at these people who call themselves climate people, but they're just woke climate. Woke people don't do shit. I'm almost starting to believe that this is intentional. They're intentionally being weak. They're intentionally being soft and fragile.
Related, 90% of it?
Well, 90% of it is, Sean. But you see, Democrats want to convert that to green energy. And the federal lands, they have taken more control over all of these rare earth minerals in America and taken it into federal controlled lands. They don't want you to mine those lands. They don't want you to mine for minerals. They want to convert us and make us completely dependent on countries like China, which completely control.
They keep throwing in China. You understand, Republicans hate China.
Most of the world's rare earth mineral mines, instead of allowing American companies to be able to mine it right here at home, or just, yeah.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. When you run into AOC in the halls of Congress or on the floor of the House, do you ever speak to people that have these views? Do you ever have these discussions in person?
I've tried, Sean. I actually challenged AOC to debates multiple times, and she has refused to debate me. And I wanted to specifically debate her on the Green New Deal. I wanted to challenge her as a successful business owner and an American taxpayer on her ideas that will completely change the way our country functions, not only with energy, but in our entire economy. But AOC couldn't do it. You want to know why? She's chicken, and she isn't brave enough to defend those ideas because they're not her own. They came out of a think tank, and she just put her name on them.
And I'm willing.
Oh my God, this is so terrible. The left is so. It's weak. You literally have Bozo the Clown or Miss Bozo the Clown calling you out, and you look like a fucking clown, man.